Hey guys, welcome to day 9 of our 2019 digital release. Today we're going to be talking about eDrawings and we'll take a look at an overview of routing. There's some interesting enhancements in here, so keep an eye on these. It's in the stars. Hasn't it always been? As far back as humans go, we've been looking up. Our drive to explore our universe has always pushed technology forward. The Canada-France-Hawaii telescope has been giving us clear glimpses into the cosmos for over 40 years. But technology changes a lot in 40 years. So when it's time for a redesign, you need a system that has performance, attention to detail, a full design ecosystem, and offers the latest innovations. Welcome to the 2019 SOLIDWORKS release, presented to you by CAD Dimensions.
eDrawings was released in SOLIDWORKS 2000. From communication and collaboration tool to powerful viewer, eDrawings has seen many enhancements over the years. However, the final chapter has not been written, and some surprising changes are coming to eDrawings 2019. I am sure you will be as excited as I am. Let's take a peek inside. eDrawings 2019 can take advantage of the new graphics architecture. That allows the GPU to participate in calculations. When comparing 2018 to 2019, you will see a noticeable difference with much smoother graphics and more detailed pan, zoom, and rotate with large assemblies. In 2018, you can see when triggering a rotate that the software seems jittery, as if it skips frames. Important detail is removed to simplify the pan, zoom, and rotate commands. 2019 eDrawings gives you the detail and smoothness you would expect. When showing someone your large assemblies, you can expect a much improved visual experience. 2019 eDrawings continues to strive to be a comprehensive CAD viewer. With the addition of Parasolid, Solid Edge, JT, and NX files, making eDrawings much more powerful. JT is a compact, high-performance extension from Siemens PLM. Along with all the other formats previously supported, this will bring you one step closer to being able to handle whatever file gets sent your way. If eDrawings is going to be a robust viewer, it must view configurations. In 2019 SOLIDWORKS, you can toggle on display data marks for one or all configurations. This guarantees when the model is opened for viewing in eDrawings 2019, the configurations will be available for the consumer. Just select the configurations icon and any configuration with the display data mark will be available. This works for parts as well and eliminates the need to publish an eDrawing to view configurations. If you're anything like me, I was always confused about what is included in eDrawings Standard versus eDrawings Professional. Well, they made it very simple in eDrawings 2019. All features, yes, I said all features from Professional, are now included with every seat of eDrawings. This includes markup, measure, stamps, move, section, animations, and many more. Now, everyone who uses 2019 eDrawings has a powerful viewing, communication, and collaboration tool. So you might be wondering about eDrawings Professional. 2019 eDrawings Professional can now publish to HTML. The output interface for this format is clean and crisp. It has support for component tree and dynamic highlighting, and even supports configurations. As a matter of fact, many of the features of eDrawings can be seen in the HTML output. Now putting up a web page with eDrawings of your products just became a whole lot easier. This will put a whole new spin on collaborating with your customers and will allow you to engage them in new ways. Professional eDrawings will continue to get new enhancements in future releases. I just love the bold changes to eDrawings. It is being used for so much more today than ever before. It is a PDM viewer, a simulation viewer, and can even view model PMI. If you are not as familiar with what eDrawings can do, 2019 is the perfect time to invest in learning. You will not be disappointed if you do.
Routing makes adding cables, pipe, or tubing a quick and easy process. Many of the improvements to routing involve performance and stability, so we're going to take a look at a few of the ways routing can save you time and make you more productive at work. Adding a component designated as an electrical connector or pipe flange will start a new route as soon as that component is dropped into our assembly. When this is combined with mate references, the end result makes for a very smooth workflow. I'm dropping in a second connector into this assembly. I'm going to create a jumper cable that is needed for this particular assembly. We'll turn on auto routing and route between the two stubs, and there's our wire. Now that's a simple cable, but of course not everything will be that basic. Let's move on to creating a wire harness for these 3 fans. Let's get a female electrical connector in here first. Here again, dropping in the first connector automatically starts the route. We aren't ready to auto route yet. Let's put the rest of the connectors in place. We'll put a second connector there. We'll get a third one on this fan. And a final one down near the bottom on the board. Once we have that done, we're ready to go back to our auto route command. With all of our connectors in place, we'll start auto route. We're going to route between these 2 connectors first. All we're doing is picking the ends of the stubs we want to route between. If we change our mind and decide we need to reroute through a clip, we have that option. We can tweak the lengths of the stubs if needed. Do have to make sure we have auto route turned off first, and then we can pull the end of that stub up or down just to lengthen it or shorten it as necessary. We have the first segment of our harness done, but we would like to tap off of that for another branch in our harness. To do that, we're going to use the split route command. Then it's back to auto route for the second branch. We can repeat this process for the third branch and so on if more are needed. We'll tap off of that second branch. We can route through the clip and then to our final female connector stub. Overall, our route doesn't look very natural and we may need to tweak the wire positions, so let's see what we can do about that. Tangency relations will help, and I'm going to temporarily fix one spline segment to keep it from moving on me. Then we can add that tangency relation, making it look much more natural. Then we can remove the fixed relation. Let's repeat that process on the next branch. Here again, I'm going to fix this spline, temporarily of course. We'll add the tangency relation and then remove the fixed relationship. Portions of the harness may need repositioning, and the Sketcher Triad works well for that. First though, it is necessary to add an additional spline control point. Now keep in mind, these are just splines, so any of the functionality normally associated with splines can be used here as well. Once the extra spline point is added, we can turn on the Sketcher Triad, which gives more control over repositioning the spline point in whatever direction you wish. The geometry looks good. If all we wanted was to create the model, we could quit right here. If we want to add electrical connection data, we can do that too. That command is known as edit wires, and we will need to be editing the route to access that command. Once in the edit wires command, the first step is to add the appropriate wires which are needed for our electrical connection data. This wire inventory list can be customized, but it will suffice for our example. We'll add 3 whites and 3 yellows to account for the white and yellow twisted pair to each of the 3 fans. Next, we will need to assign wires to the paths. What makes this easy is we can pick the connectors rather than the spline paths, so even if it's a long and complicated path, it still only takes 2 clicks. And that's all I'm really doing here. Pin data can be added before or after, it doesn't really matter. So I'll add the pin data after. I'll just get all of the paths associated with these various wire segments first. And just one more to go. Once that's done, I'll go ahead and add the pin data. The Reroute Wires button, you see me clicking on, it acts as a rebuild button for the wire whose pin data I just updated. All I'm doing here is making sure all the white wires are assigned to pin 1 and all the yellow wires are going to be assigned to pin 2. Notice that rebuild button there. As soon as I click Reroute Wires, it disappears. So you want to make sure that gets done. And then we'll assign all of the yellow wires, the pins to those. Let's go back to the top level assembly as soon as I'm finished assigning the pin data, and I can show you a cool after effect of assigning wires and electrical data. Notice how the harness is thicker where there are more wires packed together. We never actually modeled all the wires, we just input the electrical connection data. It's a nice effect. Since we went to the trouble of assigning the electrical connection data, let's take it to the next logical level and generate a drawing. I'll accept all the defaults to keep it simple. With the drawing created, we can see each connector has its own connection table. You'll want to move things around, neaten everything up, of course. Down in the bottom left corner, you'll notice there's also a BOM and a circuit summary table as well. So we'll drag those into position and get them on our sheet of paper. Of course, you can resize columns and format the tables any way you see fit. Piping and tubing works in a similar fashion to electrical routing. Instead of electrical connectors, there are flanges, pipe fittings, pumps, elbows, tees, related equipment. In this assembly, let's start by adding a riser clamp. Since the riser clamp is a basic piece of hardware, no route is started. It does know the difference. When I drop a flange into position, however, a new route is automatically generated. You can see the pipe stub coming out of the flange. We'll accept all the defaults for our route properties. And then we'll add a second flange. Once we do that, our flanges will be in position and we can start the auto route command. We'll start at the top with the first flange, and we'll route through that riser clamp. You can see when you turn auto route on, it automatically displays the axes so you can pick them more easily. We'll route through the clamp and then to the second flange. Usually once you do that, there are at least a couple of route choices available for the location and positions of the segments in the route of the pipe. You can cycle through those until you find a solution that works for you. One of these solutions would result in a formed elbow. I don't think I want to do that here. I would prefer to use a standard 90-degree elbow. And that solution doesn't look optimal either, but you know what? We can make it work. Let's accept it, and then we'll tweak it to our liking. Move these around a little bit. The sketch is underdefined, so it can be repositioned easy enough. We'll add a relationship through that riser clamp just to make sure that stays in position where we want it. We really don't need to use all these elbows either. So let's modify the sketch. Let's just delete some of this geometry and watch what happens when I merge a couple of these endpoints. A sketch fillet is automatically added, which converts into whatever our default 90-degree elbow is set to in the route properties. We'll add a dimension to control the position of this pipe segment from the top of our weldment. And that should take care of it. Everything will be fully defined at this point. Not bad. So there's our pipe route. All I'm doing here is I'm hiding the sketch for the route because you don't necessarily need to see that anymore. Maybe this pipe section should be insulated, so I'm going to create a covering. The covering I'm looking for is not currently in the covering database, so I'm going to create my own, one on the fly. And I'll give it a 1-inch thickness. We'll add glass fiber as a material, and we'll also let SolidWorks add it to the database while I'm at it, so I don't have to recreate it next time around. And pick the pipe sections we want to apply the covering to, and apply that, and call it good. The covering does intersect the hole in the riser clamp, but that could be cut and trimmed in the field, so it isn't anything for us to worry about. Covers typically are shown transparent in drawings, in the assembly itself for that matter, so I'm going to open the route in its own window and make sure it's presentable for creating the drawing so that it does look transparent. That's all I'm doing here. We can create the drawing right from here. Here again, for sake of simplicity, I'll accept all the defaults. Our table has more columns than we'll need, as you can see here. So those can be deleted easy enough. Move things around as needed. Obviously, you can add whatever views you want. So there's all of our pipe lengths. Maybe we'll just toss in a top, front, or right side view, just for the sake of being thorough. And of course, you can add whatever dimensions you need to as well. But otherwise, there you go. Thank you for watching this routing, a demonstration. I hope you enjoy the performance and enhancements that you're going to find in SolidWorks 2019, and happy modeling.
All right, Jesse, eDrawings and routing. eDrawings got a ton of enhancements this year, and I think there's a lot of really beneficial tools, but what can you pick out as being...
Yeah, it did. I mean, eDrawings, it's almost like a completely new software this year. I'd have to say, if you had to pick out of those, taking all of the pro features and putting them a lower level down is incredible. There's so much there to work off of. So that one kind of encompasses a lot of different things, but that's probably what I would have to go with.
Yeah, and Kevin and I talked about it in the podcast as well with the new HTML stuff that's going to be in Pro. We kind of almost called it like an eDrawings 2.0.
Yeah, it really feels like it.
Completely changing it up.
Yeah, absolutely. What do we got coming up?
Tomorrow, on our very last day of the events, we're going to be talking about drawings and inspection. So save the two best things for last, right?
That's right. We're wrapping it up.
See you tomorrow.